Well, sometimes a person that seemed to have been selfish once is actually very caring, and is surprisingly showing that she has a bit much deeper heart than she has ever shown before. Because in the end, there are some moments where you know that one have to do what they have to survive, and it creates a really sweet moment, even though she did mess around more. And also, it's the fact that Mrs. Croaker seems to have hidden some mysterious things with very nice comedy in it all. Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, here to bring you episode 14 of it all. First off is it's Hybrid Day in Toad Town, or Wartwood, I mean. Snow Day, as the episode is called, and everyone is preparing to say goodbye. Not because they'll freeze to death. Since they are cold-blooded, they cannot handle the cold. But Anne can, at least better, because she's warm-blooded. No, it turns out they are all saying goodbye to each other, because someone is always disappearing each and every time this happens, although it seems this cold goes around pretty quickly. Anne promises to protect them, seeing that, well, she is the warm-blooded one. But then she begins to mess around a little bit and tries and warms up Sprig to play around with, until Polly gets taken by a giant snow weasel, who turns out wants to feed her kids. Taking pity on the creature, Anne actually makes it an omelette and saves Polly, and when this cooling day comes off, well, everyone thanks Anne for having protected them, although she says she doesn't really deserve it. It gives a lot more strength to Anne's character and a little bit deeper thinker that you didn't realize before. And the next episode reveals, with the mysterious Mrs. Croaker, or the cracking Mr. Croaker, reveals that Sprig is actually pretty popular in Wartwood for everyone except Mr. Croaker, who actually likes Anne and Polly. And this creates a very comedic episode where Sprig even creates some things where he says that to Anne. Anne, this is different. I am totally likable, and you are, well, go on, likable. So it really creates situations. Also reveals that the House of the Planters is not exactly, well, you know, free of sound. That creates another comedic scene when it revealed that Hop Hop sometimes yodel himself to sleep. So I thought it was a stray animal. No, yes, our Hop Hop being a freak. You're a freak. So Sprig, to get Mr. Croaker to like him, breaks into her house and tries to think out mysterious thing about her, but doesn't really find anything else, until he runs into a guy who claims to be Mrs. Croaker's long-lost lover. As he takes that lover to Mrs. Croaker's place, it's revealed it's not a long-lost lover, apparently working for a guild that has been for 30 years hunting Mrs. Croaker. And Mrs. Croaker shows amazing martial arts skills and subdues the guy, who's voiced by Jeff Groman, by the way. And as Mrs. Croaker threatens both Anne, Polly, and Sprig, since he brought them with him, that they say nothing. It is Sprig says that he just wanted to find out why she didn't like him, and in the end she says, well, there are some people where you don't like, but I'll try to like you anyway, which is of course something she's gonna regret. Indeed, it does create that situation. Irrational hatred exists everywhere. I have a lot of irrational hatred for a lot of people, for reasons I'm not even sure of myself. Sometimes it's their voice, sometimes it's the body, sometimes it's just about their personality, and that is irrational hatred. So a lot of that, so maybe that's the same with Sprig. Sprig is, according to himself, totally likable. Mrs. Croaker seemed to be a very senile old lady, but then it turns out to be a former martial artist working for a guild. I have a feeling she will be important in a future episode of Season 2, I think. Because she has a mysterious past, after all. I think she's hiding in Wartwood because she's escaping some enemies. So it makes sense that she won't like Sprig. Sprig is just too noteworthy. All in all, very fun episodes. Some heartwarming of the Frozen one, but definitely the Mrs. Croaker. That is definitely my favorite episode. So give me your thoughts if you have any.